Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Mr. Karate, I'd like to do roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Accomando,
Present.
Ms. Borelli, Ms. Ainello,
Present.
Mr. Laurentino,
Present.
Ms. Mahoney,
Here.
Mr. Shearer, Ms. Torbic,
Present.
Ms. Traverso,
Here.
Ms. Ottarelli.
Here.
Okay, please stand for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, 1975. Okay, swing it over to you, Ms. Violetti.
Thank you, Mr. Accomando. I'm going to take this opportunity to welcome once again our two new student representatives. We have Samantha Apgar and Olivia Lausch joining us as our student representatives. They will be present at every single board meeting, and they will share updates from our student population with the board and bring back any information discussed at this board meeting to the student council at the high school. So thank you, girls, for being here, and I'm going to turn it over to you to share our district updates.
Hi, my name is Samantha Apgar, and I'm going to be talking about athletics in the middle school, high school. For athletics, we'd like to give a huge shout out and thank you to Satterbrook parent Joe Pera, owner of Demolition Services, for helping the athletic department, specifically the softball team, in discarding the old softball storage trailer at Smith School Field and replacing it with a newer model. Thank you, Joe Pera. On Saturday, October 22nd, come out and support our Satterbrook High School football team as they take on Manchester, 1 p.m. kickoff. This football game will be our senior day and homecoming day game. Our senior day ceremonies will honor the senior members of our band, football cheer team, and football team. Announcements will begin promptly at 12:15. At the conclusion of our senior day introductions, we will be announcing our homecoming winners. Tennis held their senior day on Monday, October 10th. Girls soccer will be Saturday, October 15th, starting at 9:30 a.m. Volleyball senior day is Monday, October 17th, and boys soccer will be held on Thursday, October 20th. Please continue to come out and support our SBHS Falcons Fall sport teams as we're nearing the end of the season and our teams prepare for state tournament play. For middle school, congratulations to the following students who successfully auditioned for the 2022-2023 Middle School Choraleers. For soprano, Vita Del Orb, grade 8, and for bass, Sam Kaplan, grade 8. We have successfully completed Start Strong testing. Today, 10/12, there was SEL activities from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. On 10/21, there will be an SBEF walkathon during PE classes, and on 10/31, there will be an SEL day. For high school, we'd like to congratulate senior Emma Lee, who was commended by the National Merit Scholarship Program for her score on the PSAT last year. Congratulations to the students who successfully auditioned for the Choraleers this year. We've held our first in-person back-to-school night since 2019. The high school guidance department held 2 parent workshops, a high school 101 and a financial aid night. Start Strong testing has been completed. We had the PSATs for 10th and 11th graders today, and Miss Oliveira and Miss Stacy had a self-care workshop to conclude the week of respect.
Hello, my name is Olivia Lausch. All 3 elementary schools would like to announce they had a wonderful reading celebration with great presentations, a visit from the Falcon, and celebratory music at the September pep rally. This past week, we focused on New Jersey Week of Respect. All students decorated a puzzle piece showing how they are respectful. Puzzle pieces will be displayed in the school. We are working on respecting ourselves, differences in others, the environment, and treating others the way we want to be treated. We are enjoying recognizing students who shine bright. Having an in-person back-to-school night in September was a fantastic way to start the year. Washington School would like to announce that on Friday, September 23rd, the preschool had an extra special visit from our very own Saddlebrook Falcon. The students could not contain their excitement and showered it with lots of hugs. On September 26th, Washington hosted their back-to-school night. Parents were able to meet their children's teachers, see plans for the next phase of our playground, receive information from Bergen's Promise, and hear more about the referendum questions. Our first PTO meeting will be held virtually on Tuesday, October 18th at 7 p.m.
Thank you, Sammy and Olivia. Okay, so if it's okay with the board, we actually have another student that's going to present. So this student, Stephanie McNamara, she proposed an idea to have a Best Buddies Club at our middle school, high school, and she's going to share a little bit with the board as to what this is. It is the first year for this to take place. There is no stipend involved, but Stephanie did want to share with the board as to what this is all about. Before you start, after that, we have Mrs. DeBonis doing our testing presentation, and after that, I'm going to be presenting on our referendum strategic plan and district app. So at this time, if the board chooses, we can move to the front, and I will make sure that they're all set with their presentations, if that's okay.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, 1 second, Ms. McNamara.
I'm going to make sure that I'll be your slideshow. Oh, just a slideshow. Yes. Which we just here. I'll grab my phone. Just give it 30 seconds.
Hello? Okay, yeah. No, it's fine.
Okay. All right, you're on.
All right, hello, board. My name is Stephanie McNamara, and I'm a junior at Saddlebrook High School. And through a friend that lives in another state, I heard about the Best Buddies. And the Best Buddies is, wait, can you switch the slide, please? Yeah, the Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social, physical, and economic isolation of the 200 million people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, also known as IDD. The Best Buddies program empowers the special abilities of people with IDD by helping them form meaningful friendships with their peers, secure successful jobs, live independently, improve public speaking, self-advocacy, and communication skills, and feel valued by the society. So what we're going to do, most Best Buddies chapters are in college campuses, but I heard about this through a friend, and I thought it was just such a great idea, so I wanted to start it at Saddlebrook High School. So the mission of Best Buddies is establishing a global volunteer movement that creates opportunities for one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So what the program is going to do is we're going to have students with IDD matched up with Gen Ed students, and together we're going to help create a community that feels safe and an environment where we can all feel secure and welcome. So the school program goals, one is education, engagement, and empowerment. So we really want our students, every student, to feel safe and secure in our school, and I really think that this program will help us all feel inclusive and together. So some chapter events that have already been done and some chapter events that I'm thinking of is arts and crafts, holiday themed parties, awareness building, where we could have like a seminar to educate people on students with IDD and how we could help them feel more safe in our society. So there's field trips, match parties, where we all do activities together, and also I was thinking we could bring them to existing school events such as football games, basketball games, and the school play that's in the spring. So My advisor, who's going to be Miss Lauder, who's on the child study team, wrote this little blurb about some in-school integration that we're going to do with the students. So the Best Buddies program would provide a more integrated opportunity for our sales students during school. Students would be integrated during lunchtime, social skills time, and for the community-based instruction field trips. Activities could include sitting with the students during lunch, doing fun activities of interest for recess, cooking and pre-vocational tasks, sports, and community wellness events during the school day. The opportunity for the sales students to have integrated time with their peers will help to foster social skills, relationships, and encourage them to be active participants in the school community and foster a culture of acceptance of students with all abilities and learning types. So I know that now the school is trying to get our sales students to be more integrated in the school, like having gym periods with the gen ed kids, but I really think with this organization, we could all feel like one big community. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Wonderful job. Any questions for Stephanie?
Not a question, but a comment. I'm looking so forward to see how this plays out. Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Could it be part of the option two?
That's a great question.
Could it be part of option two?
Oh yeah, definitely. So what we're going to do when we get the club more up and running is we're going to have students come in during their lunch period or their option two into the SAIL classrooms and actually work with them one-to-one with the special ed teachers, so they could really get a sense of the classroom style and how to better like accommodate their needs and work together with them. So I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
And for those that may be unaware, our SAIL classes that we're discussing, that's our multiple disability classrooms at our middle school, high school. We have 2 of them currently. And I also want to thank Stephanie for bringing this idea to our district, and also Mrs. Lauder for being willing to be an advisor on this. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we have Mrs. Dubonis, who's going to give the mandated testing presentation. Let me pull it up. Thank you.
Okay, so this presentation is going to be a lot longer than it has been in the past because we actually got to assess students last year. All right, so this is just things that we'll go over tonight, just an overview of what the assessments were during the 21-22 school year, an overview of NJSLA, Access for Ls, Dynamic Learning Map, Advanced Placement Exams, and then the intervention strategies that are in place after we, reviewed this data. Okay, so Access for Ls, I'll talk more about that when we get to those slides, but that was administered in March of 2022. NJSLA, there are 3 assessments for that, math, ELA, and science. That was in May of 2022. Dynamic Learning Map, or DLM as we refer to it, was April of 2022. Advanced placement exams, those are for students that are in AP courses. That took place in May of 2022. And then Start Strong, which we don't have the data yet, but we will, once we do, we'll present on that. That took place this September and October. Okay, so NJSLA is the big assessment that students in grades 3 through 12 take part in. The state has actually changed that. Now it is just grades 3 through 9. So that is the assessment that we assess student learning within standards in the content areas of ELA, math, and science for the grade level that students are currently in. So it says it's used to measure the knowledge, concepts, and skills identified for each grade level. So for ELA, it's administered for grades 3 through 9. For math, it's grades 3 through 8, and then anyone who is sitting in an Algebra 1 or a geometry class. So if you are an 11th grader in Algebra 1, you have to sit for that exam. And then NJSLA Science is administered in grades 5, 8, and 11. So this is something that the NJDOE advised us to let you know, is that usually we have trending data where we're looking at data over time of how students are progressing and if we're seeing successes with the interventions that are in place. However, because we did not test in 2019 or 2020, we do not have that. So this is actually the 2021-2022 school year is actually our first year of trending data. So next year, we'll be able to show some growth. Okay, so the district analysis of NJSLA. Before I start, this was the first time students sat for an assessment through closures, hybrid learning, and all that stuff. We know that our students were behind. In Saddlebrook, we had a lot of interventions in place to move them to be where they needed to be. So I have to say, after looking at this data, I think it's pretty impressive. There are areas that we definitely need to continue working on, but you'll see. All right, so this here is grades 3 through 9 ELA data. So what this does is it compares how our students did as a district compared to how students did in the state of New Jersey. Okay? So there are 5 levels to the NJSLA results. Level 1 means not meeting expectations. Level 2 is partially meeting expectations. Level 3 is approaching expectations, and then meeting expectations level 4 and exceeding expectations level 5. So to be considered passing, it is a level 4 or a 5. Okay, so if we look at this, I'm just going to highlight some things. Okay, if we look at grade 3, level 4, which is passing, the district, 45% of students got a level 4 compared to 36% statewide. So that means that in 3rd grade ELA, we really hit the mark of making sure that students understood the standards that were being taught in the classroom, despite closures and COVID and hybrid learning. So that's pretty impressive. If we look at grade 4, again, passing, 37% district-wide, 35% statewide. So we exceeded that expectation. Right, 39% to 40%. So we're right there for grade 5. Grade 6, 41% to 37%. So we exceeded that expectation in grade 6. Grade 7, 45% to 31%. So overall, what does this data tell us? That our ELA teachers really hit the ground running last year to ensure that our students were doing what they need to do. This is excellent results despite what has gone on for the last 2.5 years, 3 years, whatever we want to say. Okay, so this is just a graphic. I tend to like bar graphs better than numbers like that. So this just paints the picture for you of the light green is where we want kids to be, that meeting. So you can see on the top where Saddlebrook is based on where we are towards for the state. So Saddlebrook did fantastic for ELA. Really, really did an excellent job. Our students really did well. Okay, so for math. Math is not as pretty, but it's still kind of pretty. So if we look at math, and again, grades 3 through 8, Algebra 1, and Geometry. And let me just clarify, if you were an 8th grade student sitting in an Algebra 1 class, you take the Algebra 1 exam, okay? So some of those Algebra 1 numbers are going to be middle school students as well, and that's why you'll see that the grade 8 numbers may be a little smaller than usual because some of those students are sitting in an Algebra 1 class. Okay, so grade 3, and again, I focus on level 4 because that's where we want our students to be, meeting expectations. So for grade 3, our district performed, 43% of our students met level 4, as opposed to the state, where it was only 33% of students meeting a level 4. Grade 4, 31% to 33%, so right there. 5th grade, 30% to 29%. 6th grade, 28% to 26%. 7th grade, 26% to 29%. 8th grade, 17% to 15%. And then Algebra 1, 30% to 32%, and Geometry 37 to 38%. It's not too shabby at all. So what that means again is we hit the mark, just like everybody, just because our teachers came in last year and did exactly what they knew to do, and that was remediate, teach skills, and pay attention to standards that are priority standards. They did an excellent job, and our students are showing that. So here is the beautiful graphic with the bar graphs, same thing. And then we'll move on to science. One of the things in the curriculum world that we all talk about when I get to meet with colleagues in other districts is that science, along with math, but science was hit the absolute hardest during our shutdowns. We went from hands-on learning and critical thinking to students in a two-dimensional world of looking at a screen and doing recall activities. So when you look at the science, you'll see that we weren't too far off from where the state is, but even the state numbers are low, really low. So when we look at the proficiency levels for science, it changes a little bit. It is minimal level 1, limited level 2, proficient level 3, and advanced level 4. So we want our students at that 3-4 mark. And you'll see in grade 5, 12% of our district hit that level 3, and 18% for the state, 8% for the district, and 12% for the state. And for grade 11, 14% for the district, and 21% for the state. Not concerned about this data. We're back in. Our teachers are doing what they need to do. Our kids are engaged in hands-on activities, inquiry-based learning, and these numbers will improve. Okay, so this is the graphic with the bar graphs. Now we look at a school analysis. So the school analysis means that we have 3 elementary schools, so we have to show how the elementary schools do one to the other, against one another, which I don't like, but with that being said, we also have to think about the demographics at every building are different. One building has a higher ESL population than the other 2. Another building has a higher special education population than the other 2. So we really have to think about that when we're looking at the analysis of this data. Okay? So the reason that you'll see it says less than 10 is because the state asks us for purposes of keeping student information confidential that we show that instead of saying 1 student. Because if you know your 1 student got that 1, you know exactly who that data is, right? So that's why it says less than 10. Okay, so you'll see here, if we look at that level 4, which is always the place that our eyes should go. So at Franklin, 16 students had a level 4, while 13 at Smith and 27 at Long. So it's pretty comparable. Pretty comparable. That was for ELA grade 3. This is for ELA grade 4. And again, looking at that level 4, you'll see that Franklin is at 11, Smith is at 16, and then Long is at 18. Same trend when you look at grade 5 and also grade 6. Franklin is at 16, Helen I. Smith is at 12, and then Long is at 22 students getting a level 4. For grade 6, Franklin, 23 students, level 4. Smith is 17 students, level 4, and then 11 at Long School. Now you'll have the math comparison of the 3 buildings. So Franklin at that level 4 mark, 17 students, Smith 18, and Long 19. Couldn't get closer if they tried. Grade 4 for math, Franklin 10, Helen I. Smith 10, and then at Long 18. At Franklin for grade 5, 17, Smith 15, and then you see that less than 10 number for Long. Grade 6, Franklin at 11, Smith at 15, and then Long less than 10. And then for science, it compares the 3 buildings for grade 5. All 3 were less than 10 for that number 4. Okay, so this is the data just for Franklin, which you saw on those other slides. So same thing. So a school to the rest of the district, this just mirrors the data that I just showed you. So since there's a bunch of slides, I'm gonna go through these rather quickly. This will also be posted on the website for you to review. Okay, so this is the demographic analysis. So this is when we look at our subgroups. And there's 3 breakdowns. We break it down by race, we break it down by gender, and then we break it down by program. So program would be students with 504s, students that have IEPs, students that are socioeconomically disadvantaged, and then there's one more category, but we'll get there when I get there. All right, so by subgroup, by race, it's so small, I can't even see it to tell you. But if you look, you'll see that it's broken down by elementary school, middle school, and high school, and it's broken down by race. So we look at our Asian population, Black, Hispanic, multiple races, white, and then all students. So depending on the percentage and the numbers of our students, you'll see that there are dashes. That just means that we don't have enough students to actually get data. So we have less than 10 students in that area. Okay? So again, you'll be able to see this better. But you can see that actually what's interesting is that this data, when I was looking at it, it really mirrors exactly what our population is, right? So our highest population is Caucasian, then Hispanic, and you'll see the trends here with that. Okay, so that is for ELA. This is looking at the scores for race by for math. And when looking at this data by race, you will see that our students, our Hispanic and our Arabic students, performed the lowest, and most of those students also are our ELL population. Okay. And what's interesting to know about our ESL students is that they have to sit for this assessment, for math, for science, and for ELA, even if they do not speak the language. If they came in July of that school year, they have to sit for this assessment. And the only translation available is in Spanish. So if you don't speak Spanish, you're taking the English version of the assessment. Okay. All right, so this is broken down by gender, elementary school, middle school, and high school. And what's very interesting to me is our numbers are like neck and neck with girls versus boys, the populations in the schools. So if you look at the elementary schools, it was 177 females tested, males 199. At the middle school, it was 198 females, 196 males. And at the high school, 87 females and 65 males. So if you see that 50-50 split there across the district, that's pretty interesting. So if you look, the females for ELA outperform the males. 48% to 37%, that is the meeting, that number 4 that I was talking about before. And then this is for math, and here's the graphic. You'll see that females had 31% for math and males 28%, so pretty close. And then this looks at science by gender, and you'll see females 12%, males 11%, super close. All right. So now we have the subgroup by program, and that was what I was saying before. So you have your free and reduced lunch. So that's your economically disadvantaged population, 504, ELL, special education, and general education. And it's broken down by elementary, middle, and high school. So you'll see those numbers there. And you can see it better here. So our gen ed population, that number, that score of a 4 in ELA did very well. You can see in special education a little bit of a struggle to meet that 4 mark, but you can see that most of our population in special education met that 3 mark, which is very impressive when you have a learning disability and then all of the closures and all the COVID nonsense. So I think they did pretty well. And then you can see our ELL population really struggled to get that 4. But again, did pretty well with attaining a 3. 504 students did very well in attaining that 4 and a 3. And then for our free and reduced lunch, it's neck and neck, so did well there. Then we look at the math scores, same thing, same trends that we saw in ELA for math. And then you'll see science, okay? So, science is the struggle. Like I said, we're getting there. We are doing great things. All right, so understanding the score. So parents received score reports. They were mailed home. In order to be passing, you need to have a 750 or higher. So this is what the score reports look like. You see that mark on the top, and it's showing you where your child fell. Let me just say this as a parent and an educator. This is a snapshot in time. So when you get your child's test scores, you have to look at them and kind of take a deep breath, okay? It's not the end of the world if a child gets a 3 or a 2. That's what school's here for, to help support them and get them where they need to be. Okay, so when you look at this, it says, how did your child perform in reading and writing? And it breaks it down for you so you can see the separation between how students read and how students write, which are two very different things. Ask any ELA teacher. You have kids that are excellent readers, but if you ask them to respond to text, it's like pulling teeth. So that is here. And then you have the arrow. So an up arrow means that they exceeded expectations. The arrows going right and left means they met the mark. And then an arrow facing down means they need a little more support in that area. So if this was an actual child's report, you would say, oh, so I know that they need some more support in vocabulary. Okay, Access for L's 2.0. So Access for L's is the English language proficiency test that all students identified as English language learners must take, even if a parent refuses services. So if a parent says, I don't want my child to attend ESL, that child still has to take this assessment every year until they pass. The assessment for Access for L's assesses students in 4 areas of English proficiency: reading, speaking, listening, and writing. So in order to pass Access for L's and be dismissed from the ESL program, you need to score a 4.5 or higher. Okay, so this is our population of students last year. So we had 45 students test. Participation rate for this was 100%. All 45 students that are in the program all tested. I don't have the participation numbers for NJSLA. When I do, I'll present them to the board. So out of that, 9 students were considered entering, 10 were considered emerging, 15 developing, 9 expanding, 1 bridging, and 1 reaching. So if you look at that, we had about 7 students exit the program last year, which is great. Because again, that 4.5 is what you need to exit the program. Okay, DLM. So DLM is for students that have significant cognitive impairments. Instead of having them sit for NJSLA, they take dynamic learning maps, okay? So they are assessed in the same content areas in language arts, math, and science. So in district, we had 4 students take DLM for ELA, 4 students for math, and 2 for science. And then our out-of-district placements, we had 7 students take ELA, 7 take math, and 6 take science. So when you're looking at a DLM score, and again, because our numbers are below 10, I can't share the actual data with you, but if you're looking at the scoring key, it's broken down by emerging, approaching the target, at target, and then advanced. Okay, AP. So students that sit in our AP classes took AP exams. So you see the subject area. So we had 2 students sit for the 2D art and design exam. Their mean score was a 3.5. Calculus AB, 8 students sat for that exam. 4.13 is what they scored combined, their mean score. English language and composition, a 4.0. We had 9 students sit for that exam. English lit and composition, 11 students, and the mean score was a 3.82. Environmental science, 12 students, a 2.17. See the theme of the science? All right. European history, 7 total students sat for that exam. 3.0 was the mean score. Physics 1, 5 students, 2.4 was the mean score. Spanish language and culture, 9 students sat for the exam. 3.33 was the mean score. Statistics, 4 students, 4.25 was the mean score. U.S. history, 10 students, 3.3 was the mean score. And then world history modern, 9 students, and 3.44 was the mean score. Okay, a lot of data. So what are we doing? We're doing lots of things, lots of things. So we have the units of study for reading and writing K-6. We have a literacy coach that works hand in hand with the principals, myself, and the teachers. She's amazing. We sat with her this summer and we said, this is what our teachers need. We need a refresh. We're back in the rooms. Kids can work in groups. Kids can work in pairs. We can pull small groups now. Help us do that. Help us remediate. And she is, and it's amazing. RTI periods at elementary schools. I spent last week working with the elementary teachers. We built a bank of activities. We did make and take sessions. They have centers up and running, focused on skills and standards that they know kids need help with. Standards that are below grade level. If I'm sitting in a 4th grade class and I still can't add and subtract, RTI time is the time to work on those skills. So that is up and running. Leveled literacy intervention materials in PD for elementary basic skills instructors. Our elementary basic skills instructors for both math and ELA are so excited to be doing this work this year. They're pulling their groups. They have interventionists that are supporting the work. They're talking with teachers. They're sitting in on data meetings. There's a lot happening. It's only October 12th. All right, Conquer Math PD. Our high school and middle school teachers are attending the 2nd year of Conquer Math PD. Nancy Schultz, who runs that, is absolutely spectacular. I attended her workshops, 15 years ago when she was at Montclair, and she taught me how to be a math teacher. I'm not a math person. She is unbelievable, and our teachers have the best feedback. When they come back, they are energized, they have new ideas and things to implement in the classroom. NJSLA Resource Center and Data Team Analysis. I am meeting with data teams in every building, talking about students that we think may need Tier 2, Tier 3 services, students that possibly will qualify for INRS action plans. We are very much on top of this. Linkit benchmarking tool K-12. Linkit Form A has already been completed. In the data teams, we're looking at that data. We've used some of that data to see if students qualify for basic skills instruction. The NJDOE Digital Item Library. So on our website, I'm building a support for teachers so they have a place to go where they can take questions that have been released from NJSLA and use them as either opening exercises, homework problems. A lot of times with testing, we find that it's not that students aren't capable of doing the work of the standard, it's that they don't understand the language of the question. So sometimes we have to teach them how to understand what's being asked of them. Curriculum review and pacing calendars. I had meetings yesterday with the high school ELA department and the high school social studies department. Incredible meetings. Sitting at a table together, talking about what's working, what's not working, what resources they need, ideas they have. So that is in the works. I'm meeting with every content area up here and at the middle school. Social emotional learning. The bright periods at the elementary school on Wednesdays are fantastic. I invite the board members to come see them. The teachers are doing phenomenal stuff every day, but on Wednesdays even more so. And the visit from the Falcon was so much fun. The reading celebrations were amazing at the elementary level. Kids are excited to read. They're gung-ho. It was a true pep rally style event, including ELL and special ed staff and professional development. In fact, Tony and I talked about that this morning. We need to be a cohesive, inclusive building in all levels, special ed and regular ed working together. Sometimes that's not always possible, but we learn from one another when we have those conversations, and our students are more successful when we have those conversations. Efforts to increase our L participation in the school community. Our L parents are never involved because they're not sure of what's going on. So this is the first year we're going to have in Saddlebrook an L parent group. Our first meeting, I want to say, don't quote me on this, is October 26th maybe, but I will be sending out an invitation to the district. and we are inviting parents and their kids. And we're going to give them some information, and we're going to get to know one another. Time to analyze and share out Pearson NJSLA evidence statement tables and reports. So one of the things that the state does is they release these evidence statement analysis tables, and it tells us exactly what standards our kids are struggling on. So that's data that I'm working on, and then we'll work with teams to analyze that data and then see how that transfers into the classroom. So for our Ls and our special education populations, what are we doing? Again, family engagement, professional development for our ESL teachers. This is the first year that they're part of the TESOL group, which is a professional development organization. Content area teachers need that support so that they can support our Ls in the classroom. Resource reviews, what are they using to support our Ls? Working with staff and tiered support. Special education, application of digital tools. We have iPads. They haven't touched them in a long time, but there's fantastic stuff there because we went to Chromebooks, right? And everybody was using Chromebooks, but the iPads are really helpful for some of our special education classrooms. Curriculum review for special education. So something that Lauren and I are talking about working on this year is working with our special ed teachers to look at curriculum and figure out how they can modify that gen ed curriculum to work in the classroom so that everybody has access to the same content at their level. IEP review, professional development for our special education teachers, and then testing accommodations review. So a lot of times our special ed students have all of these accommodations when they take their tests. But if I don't know what it is to work with a scribe all year long, I'm not going to understand how to work with a scribe the day of the test. So that's something that we are working on with our CST members to enhance our student knowledge of those accommodations. That was a lot. Any questions? I was quick?
That was good.
Well, I got to get to AC now. I got to drive.
I just want to say thank you to Mrs. DeBonis. So Mrs. DeBonis, actually, we were talking and she asked to see last year's presentation just to make sure everything was like the same. So I just shared it with her and it was like 4 slides because of COVID. And then she reminded me that this was the meeting that she was appointed as Director of Curriculum and Instruction. So hard to believe. She has completely immersed herself into Saddlebrook. Truly, it's so great having Mrs. DeBonis, our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Dr. Reisenauer, Director of Special Services, and Mrs. Jenkins, our Director of Student Personnel Services, across the hall. The 3 of them together are just brainstorming throughout the day, and we have our bi-monthly meetings that we all brainstorm together, and we share ideas, and we're really, as you can see, there's a lot going on, a lot that we're doing together. We're having fun doing it, and it's really just been a blast. So we're really excited to continue the momentum. She is going to attend the NJPSA Professional Development session, so you may go. Thank you. Nope. And yep, you guys are staying there.
I tried.
No, you guys are staying. No, you're staying. All right. Now it's my turn. All right. So thank you, Mrs. DeBonis. Okay, so I have a couple updates that I will share when we go back to the table, but there was some that just warranted a presentation so I can show everybody what we've been doing. Oh, this is the fun one. So I started out with our district app. Our app is now in submission. So what that means is it was sent to Apple and Google for their approval. And then once they approve it, they said by next week, we'll see it in Google Play, we'll see it in the Apple Store, and we'll be able to get this app. This is what I'm going to call the beta version, although I'm not sure that's the right term. But this is what I was able to, I have on my phone because I was able to design these icons and hook up what I wanted for our district app. There's not the right colors. It's going to be a navy blue, I believe. But you could see the different icons that we have there and the information that's going to be at your fingertips. With this app, These are different features of it. So what happens is you sign into the app, you choose your school, you register your child, you choose your schools that you want to receive notifications from, and then you receive all the notifications on your app. They will pop up. You have a directory of the buildings, each of the buildings, every staff member, and your calendar. You subscribe to different calendars. So you can subscribe to the district calendar, you can subscribe to just one specific school, but you have all that information at your fingertips. Okay. So our app, like I said, it's due to come out next week. Once it comes out, I'll be sharing all that information with the community as how to download the app. And then if there's some idea that you have, so if I go back to this one, you could see I put AlphaBest on there. There's a link to AlphaBest. If there's an idea that you have that would be beneficial for us to include a link on our app, just reach out to me and let me know, and we can customize it. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. You can see the top stories. It's just, that was what was posted today about our fire department visiting. It's just a scroll of our social media. And then if you sign into each school, you'll see their specific social media pictures there. You can see there's a link to Pay Schools, the calendar, the parent portal, directory, athletic schedule, that will take you right to the schedule, members of our leadership team, so you can identify who to go to, our virtual backpack, our curriculum links, supply list, so everything, our program of studies, so it'll all be right there, so you no longer have to search through the website if you don't want to, and try to figure out which menu bar to use. Oh, sugar. Okay, I'll do that tonight. See, I said I open to suggestions. All right. So one of the things that we shared, that I shared, was from our New Jersey school boards, our strategic planning session. So we had our sessions last year. It did take me a little bit to get my act together on this, but Matt Lee did meet with us, and he has these booklets that I shared with our members of the Board of Ed. And I'm just going to review with our community what our action plan entails. Okay, so Mr. Lee from New Jersey School Boards assisted with this, and he developed our 5 goals for us. So you can see our first goal is community involvement and communication. I'm gonna have to scroll, okay. So you can see the first step, the action step, is launching a district app. So that was, and then you follow going across. It's a 5-year plan, although it is really hard to plan for 5 years when you're not sure what the first couple years are going to bring. So you can see everything that we're doing to launch our district app and updating our website. I will share that we spoke last meeting about the accessibility features of our district website. I did have our tech department check, and we are up to date with all of our accessibility features on our website. Updating staff, and this is going to be posted, so I'm not going to go through every item. I know it's been a lot of presentations, but our social media accounts, our parent groups, staff communication with parents. So that's our first main goal, was the communication and connections. And then our goal 2 that came up during strategic planning was facilities. And this is where a referendum came into play that I will be sharing information on in a little bit. Our district projects, so we always have these ongoing projects going on that we include within our budget, our safety and security plans, and tech integration, as well with going green. So we are going green as a district and trying to make all our forms digital. Our third goal is our social emotional learning and culture and climate. And here we have our social emotional learning programs, our district SELDs, and our mental health components. Let me know if you want me to stop at any specific one, but I know it's very wordy, and I will post it so that everybody has access to it. Goal number 4 is enhancing student achievement through building 21st century skills. And this is where we are increasing student engagement, college and career ready, 21st century learning, thinking, and persevering. So these are the curriculum meetings that Mrs. DeMonis just started having with our teachers, and our professional development that our district has for our staff, and our Option 2 program that's really been growing at our high school. And the last goal is personalized learning. And this is when we talk about collaboration, tolerance, teamwork, and respect. Again, those professional development, the RTI make and take sessions, our electives and courses. So we're meeting with our high school team and middle school team to talk about and start planning and hopefully develop a 2 to 5 year plan on electives and how to bring different electives into our district, and develop a plan for budgetary reasons. And then instructional accountability. We all started using Lesson Planner and Genesis, and we all have access to that. And our Option 2 program with Tomorrow's Teachers, who I sat in their classroom the other day, and it was really fun to hear our students that are visiting elementary classrooms and the stories that they're bringing back, especially when they visited the book fair and they're losing money in their envelopes. Okay, so that is our strategic plan. Any questions on our strategic plan before I move forward? Okay. Like I said, I know it's wordy, and it's essentially everything that we're doing and then what we plan on doing in the future years. Okay, so this is our referendum. So what I want to share is that we have partnered with Laura Bishop, Communications, and she is assisting us with building our website, building our marketing, and promoting getting the message out to our community. So what the first step was or is forming a communications committee. So we sent out invitations to different members of the community to invite them to join us to be part of this communications committee. The purpose of the communications committee is to sit as a group and brainstorm ideas as to what's best to get the message out there, what's going to work best to get the message out to our community and to communicate the message appropriately. So we have our first meeting October 17th, and that meeting is expected to be a couple hours long, and then from there, we're gonna decide what meetings we should host, when they should be, where they should be. Might be one virtual, one at Washington School, one here. Then once we have that information, we will share out the dates with our community and make sure that we're giving everybody the information that we all know everybody wants. So it's all going to come. They started our website. The website is not finished yet, because we are doing some videos. They're coming into our district next week. We're going to record some of the buildings. We're gonna show you some before, like some current videos and pictures, and then some renderings as to what it may look like if the referendum does pass. So they are coming in to do that. That will be added. We'll have an FAQ section added. And we also are awaiting updated information from the state on the tax impact. But we do have what it will be as of now, with the little asterisk saying that it may change depending upon the state. This is what you see up here, our business card. So it's the front and the back of a business card with the QR code that will direct people right to our website. So they are making those right now, and we will have that to start passing out to our community members. And that's something else we're going to talk about as a communication committee is what events should we go to? Should it be homecoming, that we go to homecoming and we pass out these cards? So things like that, like what's going to be the best way to not only get the message out to our school community, but to get the message out to all the other members of Saddlebrook that may not be part of our schools. This is the website as is, and I just kind of want to walk through different pieces of it. So if you look on the top right, you'll see the different pages. There's 4 pages. You'll see home, projects, finances, and vote. There will be more. There'll be an FAQ page, definitely, and maybe one more. If you're viewing this on your cell phone, it may look a little differently, and I think there's 3 bars on the top left, and that's how you access the different pages. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows how to get all this information. It is on our website. If you go to our district website, it's there on that home page under shortcuts. And also, if you just type in sbpsnj.org/referendum, it will pop up. So we did our best to make it as easy as possible for people to get this information. So you can see here, and I'm not a big fan of reading to people, but I am going to share because I know it's dark on this. It says, here in Saddlebrook, we're a tight-knit community who values our schools and is proud of our town. Now, as state mandates change the way we educate children, we need more space. And it talks about how we need space that meets modern standards for safety and security, allows our students to thrive academically and athletically, and provides the types of programs and special services to educate all Saddlebrook children. The December 13th bond referendum asked residents to consider an investment in our schools. So, and then there's an email for any community member that has a question, or anybody. You may email your question to referendum2022@sbpsnj.org, and I will reply back to you. I want to make sure I cover everything. So, the projects explained. And they're all on this home page, but they're also going to be over here as well. So if you click on the projects page, you're going to see projects. So here it's going to talk about the infrastructure upgrades, safety and security upgrades, academics, and athletics. So you'll see the expansion of this building, and I'm just going to say it again so that everyone has the exact same message, that what we're proposing is to use the auxiliary gym of this building, that back gym, and that's going to become the middle school gym. That middle school gym, that gymnasium will be relined so that it's regulation size. And then we're building the middle school building off of that. So it will be connected but separate. Students will not be able to pass in between buildings. These are some pictures. That would be the cafetorium right there. I know it's going, let me see if I can slow it down. That would be the entrance. And these are just some renderings. They're not exactly what it's going to look like, but they're just the initial pictures. This would be the back of the building. This is the cafetorium. You see, cafetorium has the stage. It's like an auditorium and a cafeteria. This would be what a classroom would look like. And the front entranceway. So you could see some pictures there. And I'm not going to read to you, but it just explains what the need is and why we have a need. I'll reiterate just the increase in mandates by the state. So we do have math basic skills, reading specialists, which is reading basic skills. We have a school counselor in every building. We have a child study team member at every building. We have occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy in every building. We have a dyslexia interventionist that visits every building. We need space. And you'll see if you walk around our buildings that there's some of these instructors are in hallways. So there's rooms that are partitioned. So our ESL teachers, we need ESL requirement. Our ESL teacher is in half of a classroom. So when I started at Franklin School, the ESL teacher was in a hallway. So and a lot of times, and they also, we weren't fully in compliance the entire time either. So we need to make sure that we're doing our best. And this is what we're proposing we need in order to do our best. By moving those 6th graders out of our K-6 buildings and making them K-5, we're providing more developmentally appropriate interventions to our students and academics, because as I shared in the past, our New Jersey standards are written in grade level bands 6 to 8. So our 6th grade teachers are on an island right now. They are on their own. So by moving them together, they'll have that collaboration. We'll be able to target what's developmentally appropriate for our students. We'll be able to have curricular programs that continue every year, and our students aren't switching programs every year. What that also does is allows us to have special education programs in each of our buildings. So to have an ABA classroom in each of our buildings, to have an LLD classroom in each of our buildings. And I'll explain all of these as we continue meeting. But to have in-class support, resource rooms. These are all special education programs that we have, but they're sporadic across our district. So how great would it be to have both of your children, one with special needs and one neurotypical, in the same building, that you don't have to bring your child to a different school? The other piece is also sending our students out of district, and the amount that costs our district with the bus, with the transportation, with the aid, with the tuition. There's a lot that if we are able to keep our students in district, we're doing a good thing for our community. Another piece of this is our safety and security. Security vestibules at the entrance of each of our buildings. We do have the vestibules, but we don't have the security windows aside from Franklin School. Franklin School has that bulletproof window with the box, but our other buildings do need that as well. And then you'll see the roofs, the lighting, ceilings, things like that. Also want to point out that by taking the 7th and 8th graders out of the high school and putting them into a middle school, we're freeing up space at this high school. So our leadership team has so many ideas, so many electives, so many different things that we want to bring into our district that we don't have space for. And I'll say it again, that our aviation program that we're so proud of is in the back of a biology classroom. If we can actually have an aviation lab, if we can have a culinary lab, if we can have a STEAM lab, and again, I'm not going to stand up here and make any promises, but if these are our goals and what we want to do, we need space in order to do so. So we have teachers sharing classrooms, we have crowded classrooms, we don't have the ability to do what we currently want to do. So if we want to keep our schools up with all the other districts, then we need to make sure that we just do something different. So what's on the ballot? It is 3 questions. I'm not going to go through all of these. You'll see the turf field, the athletic turf field and lights is in our first question with the middle school building. Again, we feel very strongly about our school pride and really being able to utilize our fields as much as possible. So that's going to really help us out. The third question has to do with Coolidge School. Coolidge School is that smaller building. It's one of our older school buildings on Saddle River Road. The baseball field is behind it, the county field. And It is now ours now that the township built their own building down the road. So that Coolidge School building, we're proposing renovating the inside, creating a real professional learning lab where we can actually host PD sessions, and that would generate revenue for our district as well, where we can host PD sessions and bring teachers from other districts into our district to show them everything we're doing. Maybe use our literacy coach that we have at the elementary building and sharing her and charging other districts to send their teachers to us. That's also our tech department. Our tech department right now, it's growing. Right, we became one-to-one. All our teachers have Chromebooks, laptops. All our students have Chromebooks. We have 4 people in our tech department. They're all crammed in one small office in our garage. We don't have a really true location for them. So we're trying our best that we can in order to bring what we could to our school district. And we're running out of space. So something different does need to be done. Okay, so this is the finance page, and you could see, okay, this is not my strength. Net tax impact refers to what residents will see on their tax bills when previous debt expires and a new debt is added if the bond referendum passes. So question 1, the impact per year is $208 on your average home assessment of $407,800. Question 2 is $38.95, and question 3 is $42.62. That is a net tax impact for the entire year of $289.84. This is based upon what we currently have. As I said before, the state is still updating this, and the moment we have a definitive number, we will share that with everybody. You can check the assessed value of your home by clicking. These are live buttons, so if you click on them, they will take you to the site. Okay, so just know that. And then the last page is the voting page. And this page just lets you know if you're registered, check to see if you're registered. If you're not, there's a registration form. You can print out what you need, how and where I can vote, voting by mail, and it gives you all the information. Again, questions, there's the email right there. If you click on it, it's going to take you to the email. At the bottom, visit the project page. There's always links to different pages, so that way you can go back and forth. Trying to think if there's something big that I'm forgetting right now. So like I said, we are meeting October 17th with our communications committee. We're going to talk about how to get the message out to the community. You're going to start seeing more of this. The business cards are being made. We're going to make some posters. We're really going to start letting everybody in the community know exactly what our plans are. And we will update that tax page the moment we receive the final numbers. Questions? Yes.
Actually, Sylvia wanted to ask a question. When would the mail-in tax mailed in by?
I believe we're still waiting, so I'm glad you asked that, because we're also waiting for a time of the election on December 13th. And what I need to share with the board that's in my notes is that we might need to make December 13th a single session day if voting's going to start at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's something to have in your mind. But we are awaiting the final word from the state. You're welcome. Any other questions? Ask away. Yes.
What's the deadline for finding out, like, from the state? Do they have a deadline as to when you're...
Oh. I'm being told that we should wait until the public comment section of the board meeting, so my apologies. That way you have the microphone, you're able to come up, and that way everyone can hear it on the YouTube channel. Okay, so at this time I'll invite the board back to the other side of the table, and I have a couple more updates to share. Why, thank you. Okay, as everyone's getting situated, I will just share. Our K-6 parent-teacher conferences are scheduled for next week. Our homecoming and senior days, I know our student reps shared. It's October 22nd, Saturday, October 22nd. Just wanted to share with the board that it's actually my son's parent weekend at his college freshman year, so I will not be able to attend the homecoming day, and actually I'm very saddened by that. Our Week of Respect, Fire Prevention Week, National Safe Schools Week, Red Ribbon Week, these are all in the month of October, so there's lots going on in our schools in the month of October. I believe our next one might be Wear Orange for Unity Day. Our community wellness event is November 3rd. This year we'll be offering mini sessions in the classrooms, and there'll be actually activities for people to complete and sign up for. So we're excited to bring that back to our district. I spoke about December 13th. We are still hiring. We posted for our special education positions and our graphic art design position. I want to let the board know that we are still waiting. The one special ed position is a history special education position in class support and resource room, I believe. The other special education position is in one of our SEL programs, and our other teacher has really been stepping up, the other teacher of the SEL program, as well as staff across the building has been subbing and working in that room. So if we're not able to find someone, then we will start paying an additional period for some staff to make sure that we have a certified staff member in there at all times. So I just wanted to make sure this board is aware that that may be coming your way. I know there's a couple interviews that were supposed to happen this week or the beginning of next week. And also home instructors. We did have a posting that we shared out with the community on hiring home instructors. So we do have a larger number, I believe it's a larger number than what we typically have on home instruction, and we just need more teachers. So we are currently looking for teachers to provide home instruction to some of our Saddlebrook students. It is on our website under employment opportunities, and you do have to apply via AppleTrack. So I just wanted to share that out as well. I think that is all I have.
Okay, thank you. And if I could, I just wanted to thank Ms. DeBonis for her presentation, you for your presentation, and of course, Stephanie McNamara.
Isn't that great?
She's been great. I've known her since first grade, and she's always had a kind heart, so thank her for that. Appreciate it.
Okay.
What? I really can't go after those presentations, so sorry. They were wonderful.
Okay, I got the right paper. Did you take my paper? Oh, no. Okay, so we're going right here. Point of board action? Or? Okay. Glasses, that's what it is. Okay, I'd like to open the meeting to the public for agenda items only.
Second.
Okay. Anybody wish to speak on agenda items? All in favor, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Anybody out there? Uh-oh, Mr. Taylor. Hold up, Chair.
It's agenda items only now.
Residents are requested to state their names, address, and subject matter. In the event it appears this public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5-minute durations. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered, and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comment made by a member of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments, and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Okay, Mr. Taylor, behave.
Them glasses do wonders, Mike.
Yeah, I can see now, Jared. See that?
Yeah. Jerry Taylor, 318 Shepherd's Avenue. So can I assume that this is part of the agenda right now? Or can I ask questions about the referendum?
I'm going to say no.
'Cause it was
it's
a
not.
presentation.
It's not an item on the agenda.
Well, the presentation is on the agenda, isn't it?
The presentation's on the agenda. Mr. Crowder,
Mark,
Board
that's a
Secretary.
question for you.
Well, stick to the action items on the agenda, and we could do that afterwards. That's why we get it done.
Well, you want, all right, so we'll do it the second open?
Yeah, this way, do I have to read
Okay.
that again? Okay, good.
No? All right.
Yeah, we'll just refer back to that when you come back up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. Okay, thank you. Anybody on agenda items? Okay, cool. Okay. Close the meeting for public comment.
Motion.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll move to board action items, B2223.7 to B2223.12. Discussion?
If I may, one of them I did not discuss at the 6 o'clock, the caucus meeting, was our district goals and board goals. So I just wanted to thank the board and Matt Lee. We worked together. Our district goals come right from our strategic plan that I just shared. And our board goals that will be listed are to increase the visibility of board members by attending more school and community events and increase the number of presentations at Board of Ed meetings. So we're working by students and staff. So those are two of the board goals, the two board goals. And then our 3 district goals are the community engagement, communication, the rigorous academics, and the supporting physical, mental, and social emotional factors that impact teaching and learning. So I wanted to make sure that we shared that.
Thank you. I'm going to make that motion, and can I get a second?
Okay, through the chair, I have a few questions. One question on all of it, pretty much. The 2022-2023, the school, did we just get all that information from last year?
The strategic planning?
Well, no, the nursing service plan,
Oh.
the report graduation data, the school self-assessment.
What do you mean?
Did we just, 4 months ago is when the 2022 year ended.
So they're due to submit to the New Jersey Department of Education, I think by November 1st.
Okay.
So we're in accordance with that.
Okay, could I get a second on that one?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Karati.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes.
Mr. Laurentino?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Traverso?
Yes.
Ms. Ottarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Raccomando?
Yes. Okay, we'll go to Ms. Torbic, please.
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items: E2223.12 to E2223.13.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Karati. Any discussion? I'm sorry. Mr. Karati.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes, all, but in E2223.12, I'm going to abstain from item number 825.
Mr. Laurentino?
I'm going to vote yes to all, but in E2223.12, I'm going to abstain from number 824.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Ms. Torbic?
Yes.
Ms. Traverso?
Yes.
Ms. Ottarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Raccomando?
Yes. Okay, I'll do budget, finance, facilities for Mr. Shear. At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items: F2223.24 to F2223.32. A motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, Mr. Karati.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes to all, but I'm going to abstain in F2223.24, check numbers 4633, check 4959, and in F2223.27, workshop number 43. And I believe I was taken off of the board one, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Laurentino?
I'm going to vote yes to all, but I'm going to abstain in F2223.24, checks numbers 4677 and 4998, and in F2223.27, workshop number 35.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Ms. Torbeck?
Yes to all, but in F2223.27, number BOE5, I'm going to abstain.
Ms. Traverso?
Yes to all, with the exception of F2223.27, BOE number 6.
Ms. Otterelli?
Yes to all except F2223.27. I'm going to abstain from BOE 07.
Ms. Raccomando?
Yes to all except for F2223.27, abstain from BOE.1, I believe it was, right?
Yes, so all items pass.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Laurentino.
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items. Policy 2223.4, approve the first reading of the following policies and regulations.
Second. Motion, sorry.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Karati.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes.
Mr. Laurentino?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Ms. Torbeck?
Yes.
Ms. Traverso?
Yes.
Ms. Otterelli?
Yes.
Ms. Raccomando?
Yes. Okay, Ms. Traverso, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Otterelli. I didn't have my glasses.
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion to approve the following items. N2223.4.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Karati.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes to all, but in P2223.
No,
No, no, no.
No, I'm going to say yes to all then.
Jumped ahead.
I always jump ahead.
Okay, Mr. Laurentino?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Ms. Torbeck?
Yes.
Ms. Traverso?
Yes.
Ms. Otterelli?
Yes.
Ms. Raccomando?
Yes.
No, I missed it.
Okay, now Ms. Traverso. Please.
At the recommendation of the superintendent, I wish to make a motion to approve the following items. P2223.18 through P2223.24.
Second. Yes. Somebody?
Second. Sorry.
Any discussion on this? Do you gotta fix that name again or no?
Yeah, we just talked about it during the caucus meeting on 2223.19, item number ID 3. The last name is Dixon, D-I-C-K-S-O-N.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, Mr. Karati.
Ms. Ainello?
Yes to all except in P2223.21. I'm going to approve items. I'm going to approve items 1, 2, 6, 9, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 23. I'm going to abstain from the rest. And then in P2223.22, I'm going to abstain from 1.
Okay. Mr. Laurentino?
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Ms. Torbeck?
Yes.
Ms. Traverso?
Yes.
Ms. Otterelli?
Even though we know how I feel about stipends, yes.
Ms. Raccomando?
Yes. Okay, gonna go to, any committee reports from anyone, or can someone read for Rich, or? All right, Vin, you go first.
I can go last, with you.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, just, I want to bring to attention that on Thursday, October 6th, we did have the policy committee meeting, and I think sometimes people think our board is not transparent. I do think sometimes the
Where's he
information
talking
goes
about?
out, but we just don't communicate, and I think that falls under the
Oh,
second policy that we voted on tonight, which was the student supervision after school dismissal. If we did say if a student does not get picked up, they'll be relocated to the main office in the school building and will remain in the main office supervised by the main office staff until the parent or legal guardian designated escort arrives. But then under other, and I think this one's important, in the event that the parent or legal guardian or designated escort arrives after 3:15 p.m. more than 3 times a school year, a parent meeting shall be held with the parents and principal. If the parent or legal guardian or designated escort continues to arrive after 3:15, after the parent meeting, the parent shall be directed to purchase passes for the child to attend the district after-school program. So there could be a cost involved for somebody who fails habitually to pick up their child. So it's one of those things I don't want to come out. We know the board never told us, we weren't transparent about it because we did vote on it this evening.
Perfect, thank you. Okay. Liaison.
Want me to do the budget one?
Budget.
I'll fill in for Mr. Scheer. Just a
Thank
quick
you.
report. The committee met October 6th, and we discussed the items on tonight's agenda. We went through the project update. Most of the projects that were budgeted for in 22-23 are completed. The few that aren't, or like everything else with supply chain issues, but we're working with the contractors to get them resolved, but we're in good shape there. Yeah, most of it was all the agenda items, and then we talked about the referendum, the projects, and the communication committee. And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair.
Sure.
Under liaison reports, Vicki and I did go to the NJSBA, the last meeting that they had up at the Clinton Inn. It was about budget. It was all about budgeting. It was informative, and I just think moving forward, we should all try to make an effort to go to these meetings.
Absolutely. Okay.
I just, through the chair,
Sure.
I just want to say that it was, I don't know if refreshing is the right word, but to hear that, you know, other districts are in the same place as us when it comes to finances and some of the mandates that are coming down from the state and how we're going to be able to meet those and the difficulty for the boards. It was good to know we're not alone.
Thank you. Let's see, how about Ms. Mahoney, have anything? How about Amadi Iannello?
I just wanted to remind everyone that the next middle school, high school PTO meeting will be November 7th. Mr. Meisch will be sending out a link and a reminder right before that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Torbick?
So the Education Foundation has their walkathon on October 21st. I don't even know what today is. Let me read. Permission slips and the envelopes were sent home at the end of September, so if we can support them, that would be great. I just want to remind everybody that the efforts at Washington School for their new playground are still ongoing, and if anybody can help out with that, that would be fantastic. They're still fundraising.
Okay, thank you. Was that a really?
Okay, I attended Franklin School's PTO meeting last night. They are currently having their book fair, so I don't know how they did on that. They talked about conferences next week. They're going to be half days. They have picture day coming up. They're going to be doing a pumpkin patch, and in December they're going to be doing cookies with Santa and the holiday shop together. In June, for those that don't remember, they did pretzels, Mr. Softy, pizza, ice cream social, and they also had their 6th grade meeting last night, and they were discussing possibly upgrading or doing something with their playground. That was it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I got here from Smith School. The Smith PTO is off to a great start. They have 102 members so far, 22 members. October is reading month at Smith School. They kicked it off with the fall book fair, which included a family night. They broke all the sales records. They are now in the middle of a readathon and have already doubled our fundraising goal for the month. We are also teaming up with the public library to have a library card week starting on 10/24. Smith kids will receive a 15-minute coupon to count towards their readathon logs if they sign up for a library card, and the kids will receive a goodie bag to take home. Tomorrow was supposed to be the Fall Family Festival. However, due to the weather, it's been postponed to Wednesday, October 26th. They will have games, crafts, and a toilet paper toss, which will also sell, we will also sell spiritware, umbrellas, and pumpkins. And just a reminder that parent-teacher conferences are 10:17 through 10:20, so it'll be an early dismissal. Also, they have a Wendy's night on 10:25 and picture day on 10:26. The theme for the monthly dress down on 10:28 is mismatch. On Halloween, the class celebration will take place as well as the annual holiday parade. And no one reported this, so I'll do it real quick. Meet the Candidates Night will be on October 19th at 7 p.m. in the auditorium here. And that's it from them. Thank you. And we'll go to any correspondence.
Not long school.
Oh, I'm sorry, long school for you.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Long School also got off to a good start. Had their first Scholastic Book Fair the week of October 3rd. I don't have results on how they did. I'm sure they did wonderful. They started Dave's Cookie Sale on October 10th. So if you're looking for some Dave's Cookies, reach out to a Long School parent. I don't have the ending date. I apologize. They are doing their annual trunk or treat October 21st. That is for Long School residents only. Picture Day is October 24th, and their annual Halloween parade is October 31st.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, any correspondence? No. Old business? New business? I'd like to agree with Vinnie on as far as the transparency. I believe we have been extremely transparent. Everything we do or will continue to do has been posted not only on the website, but it's mentioned here every meeting. So kudos to us for being extremely transparent, and let's continue to do so. And that's it. Anybody else? No? Okay, Mr. Taylor, you ready? I'm going to open it back up for public comment. Can I get a motion?
Motion, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I'm going to refer to the statement, so I don't have to read it again. No.
Jerry Taylor, 318 Shepherd's. In reference to the referendum, the taxes that you showed, what is that based upon as far as for the House, dollar-wise?
Was it 408,000?
We wait until all the comments are made, and then I'll adjust them all down.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that's what I don't agree with, but also, what are the chances of just separating the field and the lights from making it a separate question, because it's going to fail being with the schools, as long as, you know, in my opinion, the whole referendum is going to fail. We're already getting hit from the town for 300 on taxes with the new building, and now you guys want to tack on, I could see another 500 per year. That's $1,000. You know, it's going to be close to $1,000 for somebody. You know, it's not the right time of year to do it. I understand things have to be fixed, but you got inflation going up the wazoo because of the administration. You can't afford gas, and it's just the timing is just way off. I understand, you know, you're asking for $58 million if all of them pass. And I see that the question number 3 was changed from what it originally was, as I thought it was the practice field by the practice field in the wetlands in the back there. They wanted to put a turf field back there.
That was question 2.
Was it 2?
Yeah,
I thought it was
it's up
3.
there.
That's
Is it?
3. See? Don't tell me I could read. And did we go through all the wetlands in the back? Because Ray, as you recall, we tried to do the the turf way back when, in the early 2000s. And I thought you couldn't go anywhere near the wetlands at all. And everything basically, it's going to flood out. So if we could get answers, it would be greatly appreciated. And I would hope that the board, after the new election, would get rid of this part of it where you could actually ask a question and get an answer back versus sitting down and, as the previous superintendent did. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on, Mr. Van Winkle.
Hi, Tom.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Thomas Van Winkle, 128 Lincoln Avenue, Saddlebrook. Like our previous person said up here, I am also concerned about the taxes. I know, like you said, like you've been saying, inflation's been up there, so hopefully we can keep that tax impact as low as possible. I totally understand why we're doing all the improvements to the buildings, and I hope, obviously, there's no issues with flooding or anything that we can do in the building. So best wishes on that. Also, I want to share too what's going on in town, just to spread the word. On this Saturday, from 12 to 4 p.m. is the grand opening of the new municipal complex on Mayhill Street. For those of you who don't know, it's next to Acme. It'll be opening this Saturday. They're quite literally rolling out the red carpet for everybody at this ceremony. So hopefully everybody could come. I just want to make everybody aware of that. And I've also been documenting all the progress with the pictures since the beginning, since it was an empty shell inside of Wilkes Home Depot and to now. So I think it's going to be a great addition to our community. Also, I know in the past I've come to the Board of Ed and spoken about the Mayor's Youth Group. We're going to be, well, for those of you who don't know, it emphasizes community service. It's open to any Saddlebrook student, grades 4 through 12. We don't have the meeting date set yet. It's just been a lot of craziness going on with the complex and everything else that goes on in town. But we will be getting involved with Trunk or Treat later this month on the 29th, whatever that last Saturday is, at the complex. That's 12 to 2 p.m. And we're also judging the houses for the Halloween decorating contest this year for the town. The contest runs, people can enter it till October 27th, and then it'll be announced, the winners will be announced on Halloween. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Anyone else? Nah, it's all right.
Frank Barber, 262 Evans Place. Kind of have a couple questions. One, if the state, well, when is the state supposed to get back to us by? And if it takes longer than expected, are you just going to, like, let's say this doesn't happen, and I'm speculating that if it takes longer than, let's say, a month, which I'm hoping it doesn't, are you just going to, like, pass this on and people only have a month to digest all this and look into it, and then there's not going to be any time to ask questions? That's one. And two, as far as the referendum being voted on in December, how did you guys come up with December 13th when it's like during the holiday season and most people are busy and, you know, doing things? And I'm just wondering if that does happen, it's during the holiday season, we still don't know the exact numbers. Why can't this be pushed so that people can have time to digest it? If it can, that's basically what I'm wondering. And that's really it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Nay? Okay.
Okay.
Like to close?
I'm just going to address
Okay, sorry,
some
go
of
ahead.
it. Thank you very much. Mr. Van Winkle, thank you for sharing the community events. I appreciate that. We appreciate it. So listening to some of the questions that were being shared. So what is the taxes that were showed on our presentation? It's based on the average house in Saddlebrook being assessed at $407,800. And the total tax impact net tax impact is $284 for the year based on that house that is assessed at $407,800, which comes out to, I believe, approximately $24 a month. So that is the numbers that we have at this time. As far as when the state is supposed to get back to us, it is supposed to be relatively soon. We will have all the professionals, including the financial professionals, present at the meetings that we're going to be hosting. So we have, as I shared before, before, our communications committee. And at that communications committee, we're going to determine dates from future meetings. Those will be shared out. And at those meetings, we will have our architects, the financial experts, all of those people will be present. We always refer to them as the professionals to answer questions from our community members. As far as the wetlands in the back, yes, so question 3 is the renovation of Coolidge School and an additional turf field in the back of our building. We did have the Environmental Commission from the state did come out. They did walk the back. We also have worked with our architect. There are restrictions, or I guess mandatory, I don't know the right words, the right vocab for this, but they are required to dig underground to build a tunnel. They are required to, if there's a flood, building piece to build 2 feet above or 3 feet above and then under and dig a tunnel to account for all the water that does tend to gather back there. I'm going to let them share that piece of it because that's not really my expertise, but they did meet with the Environmental Commission from the state. They did come, there was a meeting, they did walk around. The architect's fully aware of all the wetlands that are back there, and they do have a plan to address it when they create the building. And as far as how do we come up with the December 13th date? So there's different dates that you have to choose from. I believe there's 4 dates, maybe 5. When we met as a committee with the board, we discussed the benefits, the pros and cons of each of the different dates and what's going to work best with the financial impact that we have as a local, within our local budget in our district. As I said, there's pros and cons to everything. So December 13th, one can argue it's holiday season. One can also argue that school's just getting started. People are excited about education. We could really, discuss it at back to school nights as people are still excited about, children returning to school. We could talk about the education impact. We could talk about what our goals are. We just, adopted our board goals. We could talk about what we really want to do and kind of garner the excitement for a project such as this. There's a bunch of different factors involved. I don't know if there's any one correct way of thinking as far as choosing a date. There were several that just passed October 6th. I believe it was 5 in the state that did just pass referendums that were on October 6th. So there are certain dates that you need to choose from. And as far as, there was one other thing, hold on. I had one other thing and it slipped my mind.
Separating the question.
Oh, thank you. Separating the question. It did come up within our subcommittee as, we discussed, and again, it's pros and cons of each. What we did work with again, I'm going to refer to them as the professionals. It was not the decision that we just made on our own. Research does show when a turf field and lights is set aside on its own question, it does not pass, and we have several examples of that. So even though, and I feel the same way, athletics, promoting the community, a turf field and lights would be amazing, but the research does show having that turf field and lights separately more than not tends not to pass in a referendum question. So like I said, none of this was done, even though we're sharing it now. It started from our strategic planning sessions, and we've been having meetings with the professionals and really trying to develop the best proposal for this referendum moving forward. And I shared previously that it was not a quick decision. We met as a committee. We talked about different options across the district, assigning different grades, reassigning grades to different buildings, creating, having Smith School be our middle school building. We went through tons of different options. It was not done overnight, and there was plenty of meetings that did take place for us to get to this final proposal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for your questions.
Tony, through the chair, can you just explain the process of forming the committee?
It's the building finance, the BFF committee, building finance. Facilities. Thank you, facilities.
Okay.
Okay. And that's it, right? Okay. Yeah, not yet, I'm gonna do that. Okay, gonna have to make a motion to close the public comment.
Motion.
Second.
All opposed, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, on that note, we will be meeting on November 7th at 7 p.m. and then again on November 9th. And I think that's it. What's that?
No need for closed session.
No closed session, right? Nope. You get to leave early, Mark. Okay, motion to close the meeting.
Motion.
All in favor? Okay, opposed? Okay, thank you guys very much for coming out, and enjoy the week.
Thank you.
Wow, look at this.